Welcome back to this week's Viridian podcast. We're going to have a contest to name this thing at some point. And this week, we wanted to share with you some of the ins and outs of geothermal systems that are going to be going into the homes at Viridian. We have a special koala guest, it looks like. If you're curious to know how geothermal works inside of your home, there's a lot of chatter out there that maybe these systems don't really work in places like Michigan, where today, especially, it's super cold. We're going to give you a quick overview of how the system works.
Right. What are those little Venn diagrams? My house is in Michigan, and I have geothermal in my house,
and
it works in my house.
I really can't take you. Thank you. I can't take you serious with the koala. I don't know what you're saying.
All right. So all seriousness aside. So yeah, it totally works in Michigan. I've got, my house is a 122-year-old folk Victorian house in the Old West Side here in Ann Arbor. In the backyard, I have 3 150-foot boreholes that go into the ground, right? Totaling 450 feet of pipe. So right now in the wintertime, if you go just below the frost line, 4 feet down, whatever it is, it's 52 degrees in the ground. Maybe even a little bit warmer than that because we've had such a warm winter. So my furnace is in the basement, and even though there's it's what I don't know, what's the temperature outside? It's freaking cold. That's the
13.
It's freaking cold in Celsius, and it's gosh darn cold in Fahrenheit. We're bringing in that warm 52-degree temperature through those pipes, so that it's kind of kickstarting the furnace down in the basement.
Matt,
So
let me show a quick diagram so we can kind of go into like more visuals, explain it better. Because I put together a slide. It was a presentation I did for USC, a lecture I did. So here, I'm going to share my screen quickly, and then you can keep talking through it.
Yeah, so it goes in the ground and then out of the ground.
Yeah, here we go. So yeah, each one of these wells there's either a vertical well or a horizontal well. For Viridian, we're going to be using vertical wells. They go down to a 300-foot depth. And, I was surprised by this because, geothermal isn't prevalent everywhere. It has to do with the, how warm the ground is. And some geographical areas are better than others, but surprisingly, Michigan's actually pretty well suited for this. We go down 300 feet, and that soil layer ranges between 75 to 55 degrees year round, regardless of what the temperature is outside. So that's the big difference here, in that you're not having to pull in that freezing air and use a bunch of energy trying to convert that air into warm air. And we all know our homes range between 80 if you like it really warm to 60 typically throughout year round, and that's coincides pretty well with the ground temps. So
what's really cool, this works in the wintertime or the summertime. So it goes all year long. And in fact, summertime is even better because you've got this really hot air. If it's 90 degrees outside, I'm going to bring up through the ground in my little coil, the little coil you see there on the screen, this little red and blue lines. And it's going to come up at 52 degrees. Now I'm going to do this heat exchange. I'm going to dump all that heat from that into that pipe. It's going to warm up that pipe, take that 90 degrees out, and then dump it back into the ground where it's going to come back cool again. So my coolant is already really cool without using electricity or not using much electricity. And then the furnace is going to do the rest. And so for like less than what you would be running a hairdryer for, you can be cooling your whole house. And then the first thing you do, and this is what we're going to do at Viridian also. So I've got 2 tanks down in my basement. At Viridian, we're also going to have 2 tanks. And what that'll mean is that you're going to have what's called a desuperheater, or preheater. And so that excess heat that's coming out of your house from your air conditioner, if you go outside and your air conditioning unit is going to be hot in the summertime, it's going to be blowing hot air out. Well, that heat would basically get dumped into your hot water heater, and it's preheating your hot water. So on a sunny day, on a hot day in the summertime when you're running your AC, you basically get free hot water out of the deal. and then the rest of it you dump into the ground and bring that back at cool. And then
and it's on demand hot water. So when you hit you don't have to wait for that water to warm up. It's already in your pipes hot, so you're ready to go the second you turn it on. More less energy conversions that you need to do. Sarah, I know we're probably getting pressed on time here. Matt, any last comments on this? We're going to have one of these vertical wells per unit. So some of the buildings might have 5 or 6 vertical wells. For the nest building, we're going to have about 9 to service the full building itself, and we're going to start drilling those in a couple of weeks. We're in the process of ordering the materials we need and getting the contractor scheduled, but we're just about there to start drilling those. And
Sarah, have you started digging yet? Because you're digging the wells, right?
I'm digging the wells. Yeah, I'm digging the wells.
We're not digging.
This is how you
drilling.
eliminate.
We're drilling,
guys.
guys.
Like
Come on.
outside equipment, right?
Oh yeah, tell us. Wait, Sarah, what were you saying about that? That's one of the coolest part, right? Eliminating outside equipment. So
you don't have those noisy air conditioners sitting outside of your window because everything is kind of contained in the basements or wherever the equipment is located. Nothing outside bothering.
Birds like that?
What?
Birds like that?
I would think birds might like that.
Well, yeah, all seriousness, that does have a really big impact, positive impact for the environment by not having that humming. You talk about different vibrations and frequencies. That is very disruptive. Having noise pushes away ecological systems. Get down on a micro scale with bugs and birds, and you work up the food chain. So we're really looking at that as a legitimate aspect of improving the natural ecology within the community, which you're going to feel, just walking around that biomimic, biophilic element to Viridian, whereas you're not surrounded by these humming systems.
Yeah, my in-laws got so upset when right next to their porch, their next door neighbor, their house looks over the Puget Sound, beautiful nature area, and their neighbor put in this air conditioner right next to their porch, and all summer long they're hearing this damn hum going on. And we talk about like dark sky lighting, where we don't want to project lights up into trees that impact nesting bird populations and insect populations. But we really haven't gotten to this discussion like about sound ecology. Sound ecology is so important. And we're really disrupting globally. They were able to measure this during COVID, because things were so quiet that birds and insects and other animals were able to communicate with each other better, and their breeding practices just went through the roof during COVID in a really, really positive way. So
many benefits of geothermal.
So getting rid of HVACs improves breeding. That's great.
Exactly right. There's going to be a lot of sex going on, a lot of fecundity at Viridian during the bug sex. Lots of bug sex.
Oh boy.
All right. On that note, we're going to leave it there for this week. Everything you wanted to know about geothermal in 5 minutes or more. We'll see you next week.
All right. See y'all. Have a great weekend.